Good morning, Coach Isaac here once again, continuing our readings on the ascetical homilies of St. Isaac the Syrian. We're on day 33, continuing Homily 4, page 147. This shall be a sign for you, in whatever matter you wish to penetrate, if you have truly entered into that realm, when grace begins to open your eyes so that you may perceive the divine vision of things such as they are. Then your eyes will immediately start to shed torrents of tears, so much so that they will wash your cheeks by their abundance. Thereupon, peace comes to the war of the senses, and it is curtailed within you. But if someone should teach you otherwise, do not believe him. Besides tears, you should not ask any other manifest sign from the body as an indication that you have perceived the truth, except the silence of the activity of the members. That is to say, when the mind is exalted above created things, the body also takes leave of tears and of every movement and sensation, apart from its natural vitality. For this knowledge does not stoop to take with itself as a companion, figuratively, through mental vision, the forms of things of the visible world. Whether in the body I cannot tell, or whether out of the body I cannot tell. God knoweth. And he heard unspeakable words. All that is heard by the ears can be spoken. He did not hear audible sounds, nor did he see a vision composed of the corporeal images of sense perception. But it was by the motions of the understanding, being in rapture, while his will had no fellowship with the body. Eye has never seen such things, nor ear heard the like, and his heart never imagined that the likeness which his diversified knowledge saw would rise up in it through recollection. I mean those things which God has prepared to show the pure of heart by reason of their deadness to the world. This is not corporeal vision received by means of the eyes of flesh through gross distinctions, nor fantasies which they, i.e., the pure of heart, themselves form in their minds in an unreal manner. But this is the simplicity of theoria concerning noetic things and the things of faith, which is contrary to partition and divisions that exhibit images composed of elements. Gaze upon the sphere of the sun according to your visual power, and only to delight in its rays, but not to investigate the course of its orb, lest you be deprived of your limited visual faculty as well. So this page, I would have to say is beyond my maturity or level of experience, but I will try to touch upon some of the things that came to my mind. Number one, he says, besides tears, you should not ask any other manifest sign from the body as an indication that you have perceived the truth. So perceiving the truth. One thing that comes to mind is a lesson I heard once from a father who was talking about Pontius Pilate. And he said that, Pilate asked the wrong question, because he asked Jesus, he said, what is truth? And he should have asked Jesus, who is truth? Because as Jesus states in his own words, I am the way, I am the truth. And so when perceiving the truth, using Jesus' own words, we should be gazing upon him and him only, really. All these other things of creation can give us glimpses or shadows or metaphors or proof of the existence of a truth, but the truth would be none other than, for us, especially as humans, manifest through Christ. And then next, he's quoting Paul in Corinthians when he's saying, whether in the body I cannot tell, or whether out of the body I cannot tell. God knoweth. And he heard unspeakable words. So here, and this is what I was saying, where this page is, most likely beyond my experience, but the closest I can relate to this is, this is why I'm so fond of vigils, all-night vigils, where we're just praying and praying for 8, 10, 12, sometimes more hours in length. There's a certain point where you start to, what I perceive as having kind of an out-of-body experience, right? Where my body, in my own experiences, speaking for myself, kind of hits this weightlessness. The first few hours you're kind of getting ready, settling into the vigil, saying the prayers, focusing on one word at a time, kind of zeroing in on theoria, as St. Isaac mentions here, a connection to God, or he says noetic things, the mental activity, and kind of ultra focusing that. And then there comes a point where in the Stacedia, you're never really comfortable. Your back, your calves, everything starts to get really tight. There's a physical you start to become uncomfortable physically. And then sometimes during these experiences, sometimes it's not like I'm keeping track of time, but in retrospect, maybe around the 7th, 8th, 9th hour, when you get beyond the mental activity, when you get beyond the physical endurance part, there's this weightlessness that I've experienced where you just kind of, like I said, kind of an out-of-body experience, and there's something else going on. There's not physical activity, there's not mental activity. I like to believe that I've entered a spiritual realm, and I'm connected with God, the truth, and it's here. There's these unspeakable things, and if I have experienced tears, it's been in these moments. And it's so difficult to explain, but just sharing from my own experience, something sort of towards relating to what St. Isaac is quoting here from Corinthians for St. Paul, just in my own experiences, like a connection to the divine, and really seeing truth laid bare. But again, I don't say this with any sort of authority. I'm just trying to relate through my own experiences. And again, he goes on to further explain this in detail. This is not corporeal vision received by means of the eyes of flesh through gross distinction. So corporeal vision, gross distinction. So here it's like, when we're looking at the table or the book, we can see the lines that delineate the difference in physical things, and that's how we kind of have physical vision, right? So it's beyond that. Nor fantasy. So it's not something fantasia that we're imagining, our imaginings or creating. It's beyond that even. Themselves forming their minds, i.e. the pure of heart, in an unreal manner. Now, by no means do I consider myself pure of heart, but again, I can relate to the difference between my fantasies and my experiences. And sometimes that's not so easy, though. I shouldn't be so bold to say that. But, and then finally, so again, he goes on, theoria concerning noetic things and the things of faith. So the things of faith. So maybe this is what I'm trying to say, which is contrary to partition and divisions that exhibit images composed of elements. So again, physical vision, the different things that make up the elements, partition and divisions. That's how we, again, to use the word, delineate, perceive where one thing ends and where the other begins, to say, okay, this chair is here, the floor is there, the ceiling is there. So faith goes beyond this, right? And then I like this last sentence also. Gaze upon the sphere of the sun according to your visual power, and only to delight in its rays, but not to investigate the course of its orb, lest you be deprived of your limited visual faculty as well. So again, You know, we know from, when we were young, our mother would tell us, don't stare into the sun because we would lose our eyesight, right? It's too powerful. Even, observing, the, sun, they'll look at, through like a welder's mask or something, astronomers, they would always put some kind of mask to protect their eyes, right? And again, I would say that here St. Isaac is saying, if we try to grasp the full reality of the truth and the full, without being pure of heart perhaps, could cause us to kind of go blind, to use the metaphor. We should be careful to try to grasp it all at once. But we can perceive the sun's light through its rays, the way it lights the leaves or the ground or the days, right? And thereby know that the sun is there producing this light without gazing directly upon it. So using this as a metaphor, we can know the truth of our Creator and of Christ based on the results of creation, or the results of grace acting in our life, or through the experiences that we have within the context of pure love. So anyhow, very deep page. Like I said, excuse my where I come up short to explain a page this deep, because like I said, I do not consider myself in any means to be reach any state of being pure of heart, and I think that's what he's touching upon here. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.